Streaming. Hopefully the audio works. Apparently, one of the best things about our videos is that we always throw up our setup.
Yeah, we throw up our setup in every broadcast.
Okay, you're gonna turn that off.
I did.
No, you didn't. It just went off.
Apparently it didn't work. There, it's on vibrate.
Way to go.
No, it's on vibrate, now sitting on his lap.
Ooh.
And yeah.
No, it's sitting on top of my computer. Asshole.
What's he gonna reach for today?
I'm gonna punch you in the face, Gooey.
It's okay, because Turn almost just spit all his tea on his camera.
it's pretty. I mean, let's be honest, man. You touched his junk.
No, I didn't. And
It's
Gooey,
recorded.
don't forget, you're closer to where I live than PAX is. I'll drive to your house and punch you in the face.
You did touch my junk.
Watched the recording. You touched his junk. I watched the recording of that video.
Yeah.
Fuck you off.
You touched my junk. Not only did you touch my junk, you rubbed it with your finger.
I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, probably. So I don't know if we're actually live or not. Let me pull it up on Twitch.
No, we're live.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're live. We are so
I'm watching
live.
my tea.
I thought the junk got taken care of. Okay. So for tonight, what we're gonna do is Gooey is in the chat, correct?
I'm trying to get it to work.
I'm in the chat too. I have
Can
a
anyone see what I just said? Yes.
Yes, I can.
Well, yeah.
Can someone say something?
Boo?
Here, hold on. Or can you guys hear me right now?
Yes.
Really?
Okay, yep,
Because this is
chat's
the
working.
problem I had last time.
I do my setup a little bit different than the one you had. I'll explain your set or my setup after the stream.
Oh.
All right, so Gooey's going to be our mediator, so basically. He's going to ask your questions over Skype, mainly to save me from reading that because I'm really, really tired. But the first thing I want to talk about tonight is, I'm sure everybody has seen it, the leaked video. I want to talk about that. I mean, Term was in the video. My audio is in the video. So, what are you guys' thoughts on this? Like, what do you guys think happened there? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing?
I have mixed feelings about the video release. Like, my first response was to be absolutely furiously just pissed off because, you know, I was standing right there. I turned around, actually. When I backed out of the video, I turned and I saw him holding his phone. And for a minute, I thought, should I check to make sure he's recording? And, you know, and then the thought process started, well, what if he is? You know, should I beat the living shit out of him? Or, you know, what would I do at that point? And I decided that no person who got access to the VIP area would be stupid enough to abuse their right to be there to record the video. So I just continued watching.
They're privileged to be there. I mean, I was stoked that they allowed us back there. Like,
Yeah. Like you were saying, when we got the email saying that we were gonna be VIPs and to RSVP for the event, we were stoked. There was no way we were gonna break any of their requests for being there. And for someone to take a video, not only does taking a video from a phone degrade the quality of a game, I mean, they asked us not to do it, so why are you going to go ahead and do that and, one, possibly get yourself banned from the beta, if not the game entirely, and, you know, just completely break their trust in letting you into the VIP area, which, when we were there, I think there was maybe 30 people max in the VIP area, apart from people who worked for Bethesda and ZeniMax and the people who coordinated it for the bar that we were at.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun event. I loved it. The coins, I gotta find my coins. I don't know where they are.
Yeah, mine either. I don't know where the hell I put them. I think they're...
Really hard to leave us at the hotel.
Oh, that would suck.
What's that?
I gambled I gambled because I wanted to get a new headset because you can see I don't have one. The one I have is complete shit. It literally zaps me every time I use it, and I like pet my cat and I build up a static charge. It will zap me, so I've just stopped using it altogether. I played 5 times. 4 out of the 5 times I lost. So everybody started with 20 coins. I have 8 left. I was pissed. Like, I would get, I'd roll 18, they'd roll 19. I'd roll 20, she got a 21. I was like, and at that point, I didn't want to lose them all.
I'm seeing comments in chat saying it's skipping. What are they referring to? How's the stream for you guys?
Stream looks fine for me.
All right. Yeah, like, I mean,
Skip.
it was a great event. Like, everything, what was there? We had free food, we had gambling, we were able to buy a Stein with our coins. There was a little figure, too, wasn't there? Because by the time I got there, well, by the time Altair and I got there, everything was sold out. Like, we kind of got screwed on the bus aspect of it.
I didn't even know there was. I stood outside that building for an hour and a half as a VIP because they wouldn't let me just kind of chill inside. And I got to talk with a few guys. I can't remember their names just because I can never remember anybody's name.
Did you hear about the bus fiasco?
I heard about it from you. Otherwise, no.
Yeah,
I didn't
man.
even know there was a bus.
Yeah, well, there was apparently a bus. It showed up a little late, an hour and a half late. But out of that whole situation, we made a pretty epic line. The line was awesome.
We got to well, originally we went to the wrong side of the convention center for the line because it said out front in the front of the door, northwest lobby. So we thought it was the northwest lobby, and then we got outside and looked and said, "Oh, we're on the wrong side." So we had to go to the other side. We sat there for like a half hour, and then this group of people showed up, and then 20 minutes later we turn around and the line's all the way back to the back of the building.
Mm-hmm.
Typing gloves? How fast do you type?
What? I mean, hey, I don't have much time. I have to type. Don't be hating. We can answer some questions or what.
So yeah, I mean, what was your impressions of the game? Like, we'll start with Term. You played on Friday, right? You had your 2-hour session on Friday?
And most of Saturday evening.
So in a brief paragraph, what was your going into it? What were your expectations, and then leaving? Were they met?
Let's see. What were my expectations? I mean, what I was expecting was for the game to play exactly like Skyrim. For control-wise, just to be an Elder Scrolls game in what everybody has described it to be. It did meet everything I expected it to be, but then, and I was satisfied with the game. Then when on Saturday I played, on Friday, let me just mute my computer here that I can hear and it's bothering me. On Friday we played Stras Mackay, the island that you start off of, and then at the garden we went and played basically the next step when you get onto the main map. And I was completely confused because I think it was just the lighting, because it was darker, looked so much better. And I don't know if it was the order that they developed those areas, but I literally, when I went in and I looked at the screens, I thought I was looking at a completely different build of the beta that I explained, that there were different versions, and it just blew me away. Yeah. Because once you get past level 5, which, like I said, I only got to level 4 because I was looking at all the different menus. Once you get past level 5, it is a completely different game. It is fully interactive. It takes skill to play this game. It's not just button mashing.
It definitely takes skill. Do you remember? Were you there at that part where the dev was talking to Atropos and he's like, "You can't take that on," and he said, "Challenge accepted." Were you there for that?
Yep. Yes.
And the dev was like, "Crap." He basically, I bet you any money, he went back today and was like, "I'm leveling this up. This is gonna be a little bit harder now."
Yeah, I got a feeling that they did that, but I want to clear something up that everyone's talking about in chat about the endgame aspect. The game, yes, there is a huge PvP focus, but there is going to be an endgame focus. It's just not going to be called raids, so to speak. It's going to have a different name, and the way that they go about it is going to be different than what we've seen in a traditional MMO, such as World of Warcraft or SOTOR.
You know, you just took Gooey's job, right? Like, he's sitting over there going, now what am I going to do?
Screw
Sorry,
you guys.
I saw
the.
the I saw the chat and I had to comment on it.
So, Gooey, what's going on in chat? You got anything for us?
So far, the only question that anybody's really asked, except for whether or not you'll be showing gameplay, which I answered with a swift no,
No, sadly.
is did you get a chance to ask whether or not the game will be 3D ready at launch?
Define, like, stereoscopic?
They didn't say, just 3D ready.
If you're referring to stereoscopic, every game is stereoscopic nowadays. You can, as long as your monitor will support 120 hertz, you can turn it into stereoscopic and be able to use 3D glasses. So, technically, yes.
I was never a fan of 3D glasses.
On a TV, it looks like crap. On a computer, it looks unbelievable because you can actually control the depth of field with the NVIDIA 3D glasses. It's really cool.
I never really cared myself for 3D, so whatever.
One of the things I kind of want to talk about is during our interview with Paul Sage, we asked him a question about how the Elder Scrolls, like the relics in the game, are going to work because every campaign's going to have one.
Good, because I completely forgot to ask about this, and it was on the way back from Saturday when I realized I forgot to ask you twice of Elder Scrolls and Daedric artifacts. Just completely spaced on them.
I didn't get any information on Daedric artifacts. But what were you wondering about the scrolls before I jump into a blurb?
Let's start with, are they going to be in?
Yes, they are 100% going to be in. The buffs, I don't like the buffs that you get as the bonuses you get. I don't think have been fully lined out yet. But the way he explained it was an interesting concept to me. So yes, it is a mega server, but essentially think of campaigns as a server. So when you go into your campaign, that is your server. You can join other campaigns, so you actually can join other servers. But the way the relics work is, if I own 3 relics, or my faction owns 3 relics, that bonuses only affects my campaign members. If I go to a different campaign, I then get their bonuses. So that was an interesting way to explain it. And it makes sense. I mean, because otherwise it's very hard to try and meld all that. So essentially campaigns are servers, is the easiest way to explain that.
Alright, makes sense. Another thing that I guess it was talked about, I still don't fully know the answer, was combining US and European servers, which I think you guys talked about it. No, not yesterday. Or yeah, yesterday?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
It was,
Before,
Sunday?
yeah.
Sunday?
It was Saturday.
Well, Sunday morning. Saturday.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, so essentially mega servers are just a cluster of servers. So it's one mega server is going to hold a huge field of farms, or of servers on a farm, basically. And the mega server is going to be in different regions. So there's obviously going to be one for North America. There's probably going to be one for Europe and one for the, like, I don't know what coast you would call them, the Australian coast. Just to help lag. Now, that's not the saying that people from Australia can't play with friends from North America. The reason they're putting the regions in is to help the mass majority of people with lag. So obviously you're going to have Europe Central guilds that are only European people. They're all going to play on that one, just to, again, instead of trying to connect to a northeastern server or oceanic. Thank you. Come on, you don't like Australian coast? It's a good word. So what do you got, Gooey?
Someone, let's see, Adam Labonte, let's go with Adam Labonte, asked whether or not, or when you look at the world versus world map in Guild Wars 2, whether you saw the map or not in Elder Scrolls while you played, or you got a question to ask, does it have similar things such as camps and keeps and just supply lines to take? I know you touched on it on Saturday night, about the supply lines, and I know that you've talked about keeps before, but what else is there on the map?
Do you know anything about this term?
I do not. The supply lines, where the way you guys talked about it, you basically completely dismissed it when somebody asked that question, and it was related to not really supply lines, but surrounding checkpoints, I guess, that, you know, yeah, I guess you would call them checkpoints, that if you surrounded those, it would assist in, I guess, providing bonuses for that keep in particular. I mean, this is speculation, is what it is, because I, again, forgot to ask questions about this.
Okay, so again, during the interview with Paul Sage that we had, one of my biggest questions was, because in your stream that you did for TESO, somebody was talking about RAMs and how it's going to work. And at the time, I answered it saying there's going to be supply depots, so you're obviously going to have to get some supply and build it. I was sadly completely wrong. Paul Sage did confirm that there will be supply depots, but not like Guild Wars 2. And he actually said specifically not like Guild Wars 2, because he knew exactly where I was coming from. So there will be supply points, but I guess that's going to be like a strategic thing as to how it's going to work. I don't know. But in order to build RAMs, you just buy them and drop them, and just go with them. So what was the actual question? Was
how does it compare to Guild Wars 2 World versus World map?
You'll have your designated keeps, and you'll have your side depots for strategic planning and how things are going to work. And on Saturday night I talked about how the chain of command's going to work. So essentially, think of if you have 5 keeps in a row, you can teleport to any of the 5 keeps. But if the enemy comes in and takes out the middle keep, you then can only go to the second keep. The other 2 are off limits. You'd have to literally run to them, which makes sense. I mean, if you break the chain of command, you obviously cannot go past it. Think of it electricity. You put a cut in the line, you can't go any further. So that's a cool idea. As to what the map's going to look like, we don't know. Probably aren't going to know for a while, just because I doubt the beta's going to have PvP right up front. It'll probably be something later on.
We know what the Daggerfall Covenant is going to look like. That was so
awesome.
That I missed it on Friday, and then
well, I don't even think you could have gotten to it on Friday, because I don't think I could either on Sunday. But
that's true.
Honest, I didn't look though.
No, we opened up the map, and it occurred to me, well, what happens if we try and zoom out all the way, and we finally got a view of the areas that will be accessible during gameplay, and
your map was pretty accurate, the one you drew.
Very accurate, all except for being able to cross a mountain range to the north. My map is extremely accurate, and I'm very happy with that. I'm very happy with that.
Yeah, no, you should go and just edit that one line, and there you go. This is the map.
That's all that needs to be done, really.
Just to talk on the zooming out aspect, on Friday somebody mentioned if you, in third person, is the camera going to be off-center? Yes and no. When you first start in third person, you start at that typical Skyrim, Elder Scrolls, third person cameras off the shoulder. You zoom all the way out, you get standard MMO aspect. Character's dead center, fully immersed all the way around, so you still get that full typical MMO experience.
But it is slightly off-center. Like, the closer you go without going into first-person view, it is decently off-center, but it still works. It works perfectly.
Yeah.
Well, it has to be that way. It has to be that way because of their targeting system with the reticule and everything like that. Since what you aim at is what you hit, it has to be a little bit off-centered. Otherwise, the reticule would and all that wouldn't work properly.
That's right. Otherwise, you'd just be targeting yourself.
Pretty much, and that would suck.
We have quite a few questions now. This one, since we were talking about the map real quick, and then we'll jump back to Glassweaver's question, but how big is the world compared to other games?
Ooh, I love this question.
The map for the Daggerfall that we started on was quite large. I would say the starting zone, to compare it to a map in WoW, I would say the best map to compare the starting zone to would be...
You know what I'd compare it to is probably the size of a city in Skyrim, actually. Well, even I guess it would be larger than that. Even.
No, it was a lot larger than Skyrim city.
Yeah, yeah.
The one thing I want to comment on, not just the map, but the feeling of the zone. In other MMOs, your character as a whole kind of feels huge. Like he feels bigger than the environment. You walk to a door and you're like a centimeter from hitting the roof. Whereas in this game, I actually felt small. Like I felt like I should have felt. Like trees are huge and doorways are proper size. Yeah. I have to say, it's very well proportioned, and it's probably the first MMO I've felt small.
And it's very well transitioned, actually. I was on Saturday. I was walking through a forest, and I don't even know what happened. Suddenly, I was in a swamp, and I just looked around like, what? I'm in a swamp? Because
I'm sinking.
it happened so gradually that I didn't even notice. And then, when I turned around, I noticed just like it's not like you're crossing into another zone. It's all gradual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's none of those like static lines that you can see in the ground and be like, oh, graphics changing.
And I mean, you can tell. Like when I looked at the map, it was obvious I had crossed into a different zone, but there wasn't any loading screen. There wasn't. It was just like exploring, the wilderness in any Elder Scrolls game, where you can just keep walking and you'll enter different regions, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to actually answer the original question, I would compare the starting area that we played on Sunday to probably about the size of maybe Searing Gorge or Burning Steps. That's about how large it was.
I would even say it's maybe a little bit bigger than that too. Just by feel wise, again, I had 2 hours of gameplay. I got to level 4 like Term did. Which is funny, because when you first said you only got to level 4, I actually looked at Altair and I go, he only got to level 4?
And then we played and we're like, holy shit.
We only got to level 4!
Granted, we spent 20-30 minutes going through all the character customization, and then like another 10-15 minutes talking to the developer that was assigned to us. But I mean, still, in an hour, we only got 4 levels.
It's one of those things, and again, it's very similar to what the Elder Scrolls is. You get sidetracked. Like, they'll give you a quest, and you'll go to do it, but then you're like, hey, look, a shiny, and you'll go over there and start doing that.
And then halfway through there, you're like, oh, what's that? And then you go over there, and it's like you have ADD.
It is. Like, it's fun, though. It's definitely fun.
And I want to quickly talk about, before we move on to I can see many good questions, that you guys said there weren't any kill cams. I got 2 kill cams.
What?
Yeah.
Obviously, you're more skillful than us.
Doesn't take much.
Hey, shut up. Yeah, I didn't get a single kill cam. I'm upset about that.
Yeah, me neither.
What were you playing?
What do you mean? What was I playing?
What class?
I think I had like a dagger or something. I don't know.
Okay.
But the thing was, when I did the kill cams, they seemed like they were placed at an inappropriate time where they just kind of dragged on forever. Like I was beginning an attack instead of it, finishing an attack. So if I hadn't interrupted it, it seemed like it would have lasted about 3 to 5 seconds, which, it is cool, but a kill cam shouldn't last more than 2 to 3.
Mm-hmm. Had I have seen it, I might have mentioned something, but I didn't see a single one. I'm slightly jealous that you got to see that.
Yeah, I'll agree with Term on that. Being an MMO and other characters in the game, and there being a lot of PvP focus, a long kill cam can in turn hurt somebody.
There's a lot of things in PvP that's going to hurt you, though. Like, not just specifically that, but I mean, like lockpicking, you're vulnerable, and I mean it's 30 seconds of your time that you're sitting there trying to figure out what's going on, and. Mm-hmm. I'm really waiting to see if someone asks this question. I'm not going to say anything until the very end, but if someone asks it, I'll answer it. So,
with the questions that we have right now, I'm going to probably skip a couple of them because some of them we've talked about in our previous podcasts, and some of them we've already touched on. So if I don't get to your question, I apologize. If we have time at the end, I'll jump back to them. But the next question is some of the official footage, and this is from Glassweaver. Some of the official footage shows blood and gore in combat. Do you know if there will be anything as intricate as dents or scratches accumulating on your weapons and shields as you engage in melee combat? Did you have a chance, or did you notice this if you had a chance to attack someone who was attacking with melee?
I did not see dents or scratches or anything along those lines. Don't quote me on this, but I think I did see blood, like a little bit of gore after combat. Kind of sort of like if you ever played Dragon Age Origins, some of the stuff you would see on the armor of the character. But like I said, don't quote me on that, and that is something that might be subject to change. So,
yes, everything we say is obviously subject to change. It can change without us even knowing anything. But yeah, I did notice some gore when you stab someone. You do get a slight minimal graphic, but it's nothing that stays. It disappears within seconds.
It's just like Skyrim, actually. If you're hacking at somebody and then you stop, there'll be blood on your blade, but it'll slowly like dissipate.
Yeah,
it'll fade off.
Altair, you need WD-40, man.
WD-40 and a plastic bag to put your Cheezits in.
Yeah. That's my box of Cheezits too, I think.
Dude, I should have gone some
Okay. Next question. In regards
they
to
don't have
naming-
Cheezits in Canada?
Shut up.
What?
Let's go.
Really?
Yeah, just shut up. Let's keep going.
Hold on, wait a minute. This is more important.
No, yeah, this is important. You don't have Cheezits?
I've never.
How do you live without
We
Cheez-Its?
might have Cheez-Its. I've never seen them. He bought them and he's like, "Hey, have you tried these?" I'm like, "What the hell's a Cheez-It?"
And then 5 minutes later, he was addicted.
But for the record, you guys have Cheez Whiz in aerosol cans. That's just weird.
Yeah.
So Altair took your Cheez Whiz cherry. Your Cheez-It cherry.
Yeah, he took my Cheez-It cherry.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah, moving on.
In regards to naming, this is Raging Cajun. In regards to naming, we know that we can have a first and last name, but which one, if either of them, is specific to your account?
All right, this is actually interesting because I'm in the process of writing a character creation post. It's going to be probably pretty long. There's a lot of detail. I'm a little upset, but I'm also a little glad. Both of the names are bound to your account, and you have to have a first and last.
And there is a minimum 3-character requirement for first and last name.
So does that mean that if you pick a last name, that only people on your account can have that last name?
No. No, another character can have a different name.
Mm-hmm. I actually have very good answers to this, and Atropo said he actually laughed at me for pointing it out, but now that I recognize it, I can answer it fully. You sign in onto your account with your email address and your password. We saw the login screen. Most of the setups were already at character creation, but at one point, one of the games crashed. Somebody did something really stupid, and it caused it to crash. And when they brought it back up, you signed in with a username and a password that was separate from your actual accounts, and then you would pick your character. And it seemed like there was room for upwards of 8 to 10 characters on a particular account. Don't quote me on that's the maximum number. That's what it looks like there was room for.
Do you know if they were faction bound? Like if you pick one faction, all your characters are on that faction?
No, you can play different factions.
Yeah, but the only faction they would allow us to play at PAX was Daggerfall.
Boo.
So you do know for sure, though, that you can create them for different factions?
Yes, the options, there were 4 things that were listed for every account that you owned. The first was your name, first and last. The second was your level. The third was your alliance. I have no idea what the fourth was because I only saw it for about half a second because it was actually on Friday where I remembered that bit, and I just wanted to get back into playing, so I didn't really look at that screen fully. It may have been my location. I'm not really sure, but there were 4 options. That's all I know.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
And each class had to have a first and last name?
Yes.
Or each race?
Each character that you create will have to have a first and last name, minimum of 3 characters each.
That's surprising.
Like I said, I'm not sure if I like that idea, but I mean, I'm on the fence about it just because I don't know what to give Garbrac for a last name. He's just Garbrac.
Oh,
Loser.
Something that I remember.
Garbrac Cheez-It.
I remember reading this, that it's something like, because you get a problem where if you take a first and last name, nobody else can have that first or that last name, and they don't have it like that. They have it so that
You can't have two of the same names. Like, you can't have Garbrac, or Garbrac PAX twice. So I can't make another character with that name.
Yeah,
but I can make another character named Garbrac Pickles.
Weirdly enough, me and Gar both did
yeah,
Garbrac.
exactly.
Just go ahead, Term.
I can't remember how it was explained to me. It was like you are allowed to have more than one last name. Different people are allowed to have the same last name. But it was... I can't remember it now.
Yeah, like I could have Garbrac PAX and you could have Term PAX. But we couldn't both have Garbrac PAX. Or I could have...
Well, yeah, that's obvious, but it was something else.
If you think about it, just bring it back up. Alright, Gooey, what do you got?
The next one is... Lost my place. Just 1 second. How much...
You need to finish that sentence so we can answer.
Sorry. Now, I'm going to read over that one a few more times and then come back to a different one. Did you have to repair your armor?
That wasn't implemented in the game.
As of the current build in PAX, there was nothing like that, strictly because it's just for demo purposes.
There may be something added related to that with death as a penalty, but that is extremely, extremely subject to change up to the very last day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we even asked one of the developers that, and they flat out said that they haven't implemented it into any version of the beta yet, because they want people to actually experience gameplay rather than repairs and stuff. But they said there is going to be some type of repair system, and
there'll be a penalty to death, is basically
yeah.
what they said. They just don't know exactly what the fine newts of it is going to be.
Yesterday, you guys said there were 2 ways to revive. That is incorrect. There are 3. One of the confirmed ways... yes.
Yeah.
Is the third is rezzing, where somebody else can use a soul gem, depending on your level, to res you where you are.
Yeah. And an interesting thing is something that Term actually asked them, or tried to get them to confirm, was the size of the soul gem is variance on what you require in order... How am I going to say this? In order to res somebody higher level than you, you need either a bigger or a fuller soul gem. So that's a cool aspect.
So I think there's 5 types of soul gems, so it's basically 1 through 9 petty, 10 through 19 lesser, like that.
Yeah.
Which is really cool, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Speaking of gems...
But one of my... just a second. One of my questions in regards to the soul gems is, if I have 5 of the weak or the smallest ones, can I combine it into a bigger one?
No, that's stupid. Stop being stupid.
But it... Fine.
I don't know. Maybe you should suggest that.
No, it's stupid!
Speaking of gems, I found out that I forget the exact name of the gem, but there's a gem in the game that if you collect 3 of them, you get Sky Shard, you get an extra skill point.
Yeah, Sky Shards.
Is it? Yeah, is it? No, I see Soul Shard on the side here. No, it's Sky Shards.
Yeah, it's Sky Shards.
I can never remember the name either.
Did you find any of those, Term, when you were playing?
Yes, I actually explained what they looked like. I compared them to giant pine cones. Giant blue pine cones that have pillars of light. They're blue.
Yeah, you can't miss them. I mean, if you play SOTOR, think of the giant beam of light coming from the datacrons. You can't miss them.
Mm-hmm. And it's so cool. I can't even describe the animation when you absorb its power.
Oh, it's cool, isn't it?
It looks kind of like what happens when you absorb the power of a dragon in Skyrim, I guess, except it's
a little bit better. I like it. I thought it was cool.
It's indescribable.
You have to experience it.
This one will answer probably about 10 different questions. Or
42
questions. That is the answer to life, the universe, and everything, but that's not what I was going to ask.
Okay.
Good try. In regards to armor, are there random generated stats? Can you remind everybody what stats there are, and what slots were there?
Altair, you can handle the slots because
Okay.
I know you wrote it down. Term, was there anything specific that you remember that you want to talk about?
I remember that my iron
Dagger
battle axe
Shit,
had
hold on.
12.
was what 12?
It had 12 damage
Okay.
to it. I think my dagger had 8.
Your battle axe had 12. My highest one had 9. Jerk. One thing I did note is it is random because I had two of the exact same weapons. One had higher damage than the other, so it is that aspect is random.
I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, which kind of tied back into one of our Elder Scrolls Uncovered videos where we were talking about random loot, and I was like, oh, I saw that. It was pretty cool. But
I thought you were raging against it.
no, man, I love that idea. It makes it so people actually have another reason to farm.
Yes.
I agree.
That
Yeah,
that
it
one
gives something to
that
work with.
added 1 DPS will make some hardcore min maxer grind out something for days. But as for the gear itself, on the tooltip, you have 3 primary things that you're going to see right off the bat. You have, if it's armor, you have your armor, you have your power, and you have level. Are the 3 things that you're going to see. And then there's obviously your magical bonuses, which are like +2 to magicka, +2 to strength, or +2 to health, or whatever the value is. There is not, and I actually asked this, there's not going to be any bonuses on the gear that says, if you have 2 pieces equipped, you get this bonus or anything like that. None of that's going to be in it. And you're not going to get anything that says, if you equip this, your something or other is going to be stronger or anything like that. That's all done in your skill tree. So gear is essentially gear with basic stats, which is good, which is the way it should be.
Should we talk about how Atropos only almost leveled up one of his special abilities at 5?
Oh yeah, and he tried to transmorph it yet.
Where it's when you get a special ability to level 5, I think how many times can you level up an abilities to 20?
Yes, I believe it is 20. And
The first one is at 5.
Yeah.
The first split.
One of the cool things about that whole transmorphing thing is if me and you level the exact same character and end up with all the stats, the chances of us having an identical character is going to be pretty rare because we're going to change the transmorph or anything like that, which is really cool.
Are you kidding? There is 0 chance that we would have the same character.
Well, I don't know. You might want to copy me because I'm awesome, but I didn't get a single kill cam.
Right, but I would literally have to know what you were choosing to choose the same thing.
Yeah. So, and I think that in itself is what they're going to try and compete against the cookie cutter builds. Which
It works
really
very
good.
well.
It does. I mean, there's just so much progression in that aspect. There's just so much to do.
Alright, and as far as armor slots go, so you have your head, you have shoulder, hands, feet, legs, belt, chest piece, costume, neck. You get 2 rings. You'll have 2 weapon sets.
Wait, 2 rings?
Yes.
2 rings and 2 weapon sets.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, you got 10 fingers. You can at least put 2 rings on.
Yeah. That's true.
And that was everything in the slots for gear.
The one thing I want to talk about is just as soon as we're talking about slots, it kind of bugged me a little bit is the way the inventory system works. You get 50 slots right off the bat, and I asked them, how do you increase it? And they said, well, you just go to a vendor and you buy more slots. I'm like, well, is there a bag system that you get a bigger bag, you put a backpack or something on? They said, no, all it does is increase the number. And I was like, oh.
And there's an unlimited amount that you can get.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's unlimited.
That's what
Hope
what's
it's not
her name
unlimited.
said.
Yeah, I didn't hear that. You might. I don't know. I don't remember that.
Yeah, Maria said that.
Oh.
The one that we had.
That just seems out of place to me.
I might have misheard her, but I'm pretty sure that's what she
I
said.
have a feeling you misheard her. 'Cause I don't want to say I have a feeling. I hope you misheard her.
I mean, if it's unlimited, I'm going to fight that.
It just makes
Hard.
no sense. Like, even today, during the Ask Us Anything combat, they said you get unlimited projectiles. And immersion-wise, it bugs me. I mean, it makes sense, but it bugs me. I never understood the infinite quiver. I miss the days of requiring ammo.
If you have to add arrows to your bows, you're gonna have to charge your staffs with soul gems.
True.
So
True. All right, Glee, what do you got?
Not the other.
Glassweaver asked a really good one that's kind of long. There have been some PAX attendees talking about animation priority being in place, meaning character input isn't accepted until the animation of the last input is completed. With that being said, does it cache and then sequentially execute some of the commands you might try to enter while the animation is in progress, or does it just drop commands given to it while the current one's animation is still going?
All right, go ahead, Term.
I can answer that one because when you are attacking and you go to raise your shield, you will immediately raise your shield.
Really?
What I know.
You noticed that? Because
Yes.
on my Dragon Knight, I noticed the exact opposite, but...
What weapon were you using?
I was using a sword and a shield. Well, her name was Maria, right? Altair?
Yeah.
I asked her, I'm like, well, is this normal? Like, is there a priority list? She's like, there is. They're working on fine-tuning the animations, but if you right-click, it takes priority over everything. You automatically block. The graphic might not show up, but you will be blocking. So that's it. Your block is priority number one if you block. And you can block with any weapon that you have equipped, including dual wield. You can block with it, which is cool.
Speaking of which, with the blocking, when a NPC is going to do what's called a heavy attack, they will glow with like a yellowish glow on the side of them, and that is when, if you block the attack, it'll stagger and stun them, and then if you follow up with the right combination, it will knock them down and instant crit them. We got that clarified on Sunday.
Yeah. Two things real quick. One, I just banned Big Matt 010 permanently from the channel for posting gameplay footage.
Thank you.
If anybody else feels like doing that, I will be happy to slap the ban hammer on you. So yeah. And then Abeyo asked a question, and I think he asked it earlier, and I missed it, and I apologize for that. He asked if the finesse system and archery go together, and how does that work?
Sadly, neither Garber or I were able to get any archery gameplay.
Dude, the bow wouldn't drop!
Yeah, we couldn't find a bow, and the stuff you start with is either a sword and board or a staff. At least out of the classes I played, I didn't get to get a bow. But if we get into beta and we can answer that question, we will.
We can't answer any questions if we get into beta.
Well, after the NDA is released.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll have to ban you too, Altair.
We can request to release information.
Yes, we'd have to send in. We'd have to send out the information that we want to release, and they have to approve it.
Yeah.
Or we could just be douchebags and release it anyways and get kicked out of the game forever.
Yeah, no.
I'm just going to make a quick note, if I may, on weather, which there is weather, yes. It was raining at one point in that swamp that I was in. It doesn't rain all the time. The weather can change randomly. It is different for every, I guess, server. So, you could switch to a different phase and it might have different weather. And there isn't like constant weather. Like I mentioned it Friday night that it won't always be snowing in some areas, like in Skyrim, which always confused the hell out of me.
What, that it's not always snowing, or that it always snowed?
That it's always snowing in some places in Skyrim. Like, always snowing.
You're in the mountain. What do you want it to do?
Well,
it should be dropping battle goats!
It'll be a storm giant battle. Another question that's been pretty popular in the chat, and I think you answered this on Saturday.
42.
I'm not 100% sure. It's still not 42.
One of them's going to be 42. Somebody asked me a question where I can answer 42.
It was, did the devs hint at all about the subscription model, if there is one?
No, I didn't hear anything.
They didn't hint anything.
We tried to talk about it, but they wouldn't give us any information.
They didn't hint a damn thing. There's been whispers among people There is absolutely no official, no mention, no rumors or anything.
Okay. Going back to the weather.
Just a second. Go ahead, Term.
I guess I'll say this. I talked to, unfortunately, I can't remember who I talked to, and
He must not have been informed.
well, no, well, like I
It
said,
would suck if it was Matt Farrer.
I talked to him about future updates. It was just basic future updates in general, and what he said was that their motto for future updates is that right now they're trying to get through launch is what they're trying to do. If they they are trying to get up to launch, then they will start talking about player housing, about adding spears, about all that other stuff.
And that makes sense. I mean, the whole hand situation, I understand people getting angry, but in my mind I was like, let them focus on getting the game done and then worry about the cosmetics.
I mean, hands, in my opinion, was something that should not be focused on, because when you think about the number of weapons, shields, staves, multiplied by the animations for walking, running, everything else, time multiplied by
You're
need to be
cutting out
designed.
really
There it
bad.
is. He must be downloading porn. And just to clarify, you are a huge Elder Scrolls fan, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just to clarify that there is, for example, Term is a huge Elder Scrolls fan and just said hands should not be a priority at this time. Get the game done first and then put the hands in. But with that being said, hands are going to be in at launch, which is fine. I mean, they have a team dedicated to doing that. And I actually asked them this guy. I'm like, okay, did you put the hands in specifically because of the nerd rage? And they said no, they originally intended for it, and it was originally in the game. But because of all the issues and the amount of detail they have to do about it, they took it out. They're like, well, let's try and work on something else. And it is in the game right now. The reason it's not in the beta that we saw, it makes people sick. It gives them motion sickness, which I understand. I mean, if it's given them motion sickness, it means the detail's really, really high.
It was giving motion sickness. I didn't hear that was a reason.
Yeah, I was talking to what's her name, Altair?
Maria.
I hope she doesn't watch this. I was talking to Maria, and I asked her. She said, "Well, the reason it's not in is just because it's making people sick, like giving them headaches and motion sickness." Which, I mean, a lot of high-end games kind of do that.
This game is so incredible. It is injuring people who play it because it is that awesome. I love it.
Who was I talking to? I think I was talking to Phil from Shadowed Mare. And I was like, you know how you hear about MMOs killing people from starvation and just they're not paying attention to life? I'm like, ESO is going to kill people.
The hands will kill people.
It was just funny. I was like, it was hilarious.
Okay. Next is, will there be kill spam in Alliance vs. Alliance? Which I don't think you know because you weren't able to play it. But were you able to ask about that?
I don't know what he means by kill spam. Like,
I had to ask also. It's such and such was killed in blank by such and such.
That.
I was able to talk to Matt Farrer about this, and the nameplate system isn't in the game, so we don't know if we're still going to be able to see the enemy's name, his real name, or if it's just going to be Enforcer blah blah from blah blah or whatever. We don't know exactly what that's going to be. So, as to what's going to be in the chat if you kill them, is the same concept. We don't know what's going to be there. But we do know if you claim a keep as a guild and your guard dies, it's going to tell you in guild chat, hey, this guard died with this many people around.
Oh, well, good.
Yeah, so you'll know if it's just one guy killing a guard because he was running by, or if it was 70 people that are trying to take your keep, and you can go, oh shit, we should probably get there. Sadly, there's a lot of bad news about that right now, though. About guilds and stuff like that. Sad face.
Next, what do you know if there are going to be seasons in the game?
Term, you probably know this one. I don't.
Seasons, as in like spring, summer.
Yes.
I've never seen an MMO like that, so I'm gonna say no. But
That
Turn
would
might
be
know.
amazing.
With the detail they have in this, though, it's possible.
If
hands
we
are
had
making
a
people motion sickness,
season or something like that, just like every week is a different season, that would be.
It would be
Impressive.
interesting. It would definitely. Or if
But
they
again,
did.
there are more important things they need to be working on right now.
Yeah, of course. This is strictly
like
cosmetic.
beers.
It would be cool if they actually kind of stayed with North American seasons, though. Like when winter hits, it starts snowing in certain regions or something like that. That'd be kind of cool. I mean, it brings that reality into video games that we probably shouldn't have. Again, ESO is going to kill people.
This is a question for Altair and Garbrac. This is way earlier, and I just remembered seeing it.
42.
What kind of Cheezits did you have?
I think they were just regular.
Yeah, just the original.
Oh man, you should have given them the Tabasco flavored.
Oh, dude, no.
I was
Tabasco's
thinking about-
nasty.
I was thinking
Just
about
Tabasco.
I was thinking about giving him the spicy flavor, but he mentioned he's not real big on spicy food, and I didn't want him to throw stuff at me. So I don't know if you guys watched the stream, but my size compared to his size,
My body will eat his.
He had to
Break
push
you
the
in
seat.
half.
He had to push the seat in my car all the way back just to sit down.
And I still didn't have enough room.
He is a fucking giant.
All right, let's go back a couple more questions because we got about another 20 minutes or so.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let's
I
scroll back
actually
up.
have.
Go ahead.
It's just a question that I've always wanted answered. Why haven't they been giving us any information on the Aldmeri Dominion? Like, we have about 10 solid seconds of footage of areas. There's, I think, a few screenshots of, that area, but they haven't given us anything.
Well,
Because Aldmeri Dominion's so awesome, they want to save it for last.
well, that too. I was talking to the actual level designer for. I think he was saying he did 1 to 15, and then they're working on 39 to 45. I think is what he said, and he was like, "I'm a little biased, but the Aldmeri Dominion, from all of our polls and every other poll, is the least populated faction." But he's like, it's probably one of the best looking ones. Which I'm fine with, and I'm
Yes.
very surprised that they haven't said anything, because AD is probably the only faction that nobody's really seen. There's no real games based off of it.
It's true, and this is why I'm just like, show us something.
Your porn really made that interesting. That was
The video's
some
amazing
slow-mo
on it.
stuff.
Got another question for you guys.
All right.
How complete do you think, or do you know how complete we'll be able to get with the scope points? Like, we'll be able to get all of the scope points that are possible, like every single point that's possible, or how much we'll be able to reach into that?
I've been given two answers on this. Matt Farber said you'll be pretty close to almost all of them, and another guy said all of them. So I'm going to say minimum 80%, which is a lot.
Yeah,
I'm going to say, because every answer I've heard is always somewhat correct, that we will be able to unlock the majority of them through leveling. However, there are a total of 60 sky shards spread throughout each alliance zone, and if we don't collect all of those, I don't think we're going to be able to have every single one of our, what's the word? I just lost it.
Skills?
Yeah, skill point.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of sky shards, they did confirm that there are more sky shards in the starting areas than there will be in other areas.
Which makes sense. I mean, it's easier to level up that way, because you need your skills off the bat.
Yeah, that's good. Actually, that's very good.
Any chance you hit the L button while you were playing?
L?
L.
I did. I just can't think of what it does.
It brought up the book section of all the books.
Holy shit.
There's 30 categories of books that's currently in this build. There was 30 categories of books, 10 in each category.
Speaking
I
of
must have
buttons-
missed that
That's a lot of books.
because
Speaking of
I would have
buttons,
been out about that.
Yeah, that's a lot of books.
yeah, and speaking of buttons, if you press the V key, it'll take you from third person right to first person.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It'll take you back to your last third-person position. So whatever you had your camera set at. And T will bring you right to first person.
I did
no,
know T,
T's
and all
Quest.
of these
Sorry.
are rewritable too.
Raging Cajun asked, did you notice a combat log or any scrolling combat text? And if you did, are they toggleable on or off?
No combat log that I noticed. Combat text is in the game currently, but not for long.
Yeah, they feel that they want people focusing more on the screen and the graphics and everything than staring at numbers.
But if you really, 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 really want it, just code one.
Did you notice in any of the mobs that you were fighting, whether it was a regular or a boss, that would take extra damage from hitting a leg or an arm, like that was its weakness?
Not that I noticed. Did you see anything?
No.
One interesting situation, though, is I was playing the... I'll wait till he gets his Cheezit.
Go ahead.
Dude, I'm getting hungry watching those.
I was playing the Dragonite, and the first skill that I... What are you saying ow to?
I just pulled goatee hair out with my clip from my headset, and it really hurt.
Good job.
I might be crying right now.
Okay, so, Dragonite. I played Dragonite. And the first skill I chose was the grapple, so that was the pull thing. It's a really fun ability. And just before I get into this, they actually coded it insanely smart. So if I pull it as I'm running, the mob will actually meet me where I am. It won't go back to where I pulled it from. So that's a really cool thing.
Okay.
Another cool thing is if I jump on top, like over it, and pull him up, he won't leave the ground. So he's not just going to go up there and fall down on me. Which makes sense. I mean, they're like, you have to have a path for that. I'm like, yeah, I know, but there's some games where you can just pull him and he just stays up there. But there was an instance where I pulled an archer to me. As soon as I pulled him and he was in range, he switched to his sword, and then his friend came. As soon as his friend came, he pulled out that bow, booked it to the other side of the room, and started turning me into a pincushion. So that shows you how smart the AI is.
It is really impressive.
I died like 3 or 4 times. Yeah. I got my ass whooped a few times.
Did you guys get a chance to ask about server maintenance? How they're going to handle that?
Oh, term? Anything? Yeah, I didn't find out anything. I did find out there will be a PTR.
Yes.
So it's going to be a test mega server. Interesting.
Or actually, no. That was the question that I asked. How often are we going to be seeing updates? And they said, but I guess maintenance falls under that. They said, nope, no idea. Can't tell you.
Yeah, and I mean, in all honesty, the game, if it still comes out this year, which I'm assuming it still will, it's so far off. I mean, that's probably one of the last things they probably want to worry about.
I swear, after all the 2013 they've been telling, it doesn't come out this year.
It's going to come out January 1st of 2014, just to piss you off.
I hope it comes out for Christmas.
Or it'll come out December 31st, just before midnight. Alright, Gooey, what do you got?
I want to confirm this. There was no crafting at PAX, correct?
No,
We were actually wrong. There was crafting. We were just too low level to actually see it. You had to be like level 6 or 7 to get to it. That's why we assumed it wasn't in there. But one of the devs confirmed that you had to get out of the starting area to get into the crafting.
Yeah, at the
Did you get any mats?
At the Tamriel Garden, tons of mats. At the Tamriel Garden, we were able to do the crafting. We just never thought of it.
Okay. Is there a Hearthstone or home button?
No.
I didn't see one.
But Term, I know exactly what he's going to say, so go ahead, Term.
What about way shrines?
Sure.
Yep. I believe I actually explained how way shrines worked. I'll do it again. One thing I'm still not sure about is if you can do it in combat. Which I'm pretty sure you can't.
I would
Because there's
assume
an
you can't.
Because there's an animation associated with it. That you can teleport when you're physically touching a way shrine to any other way shrine. You can travel to them from any location, but it costs gold. That gold depends on, I believe they told us what region you were in. For example, near the starting area, it's going to only cost you about 200 gold, which is a lot, considering that most monsters only drop like between 3 and 10 gold.
Yeah.
When you get to higher levels, I'm assuming it's going to cost, upwards of thousands.
Yeah.
One related to crafting, there's fishing. I believe most people already know this because I read it somewhere and I already asked it too.
Do you provisioner? Like, is fishing a craft, or is it just like something you can do?
Well, unless you're going to be using fish to make weapons, I'm hoping that it's going to be for provisioner.
It's armor smith. It's for fish scale armor.
One question that was asked earlier that I didn't really get a chance to ask. I know, Altair, you talked about having a skill where you basically went all get over here on someone and pulled them to you.
That was me.
Yeah, that was you. What was the range on that?
Actually, let me answer this one. The range right now is actually a lot bigger.
No, not the combat range. I think he's referring to actually how far away I can be to pull him.
Yeah, the spell.
Oh, okay.
It's decently far. Like, I would say it's far enough. Like, I can't really give you an exact 15 meters or something.
Mm.
It's far enough that you can pull without standing in the group of other mobs.
I would say 10 meters.
10 meters.
15.
If I had to say something, I would probably say 10 to 15 meters. But I mean, I can't. Don't quote me on that because I honestly don't know an exact number.
They were asking about how much range you had with range attacks, range weapons, etc. But everyone said that they didn't get a bow to drop. So
yeah.
Well, I played a caster, and the range was extremely far. And the developer said that they are actually going to shorten it, and make it a smaller range for the abilities. But I could stand quite a distance from a mob and hit it with the spell.
Yeah, and like the one thing I made comment of, and she wrote it down, was the distance for my melee swing is huge. Like, I don't even have to be anywhere near them to swing and hit them. And they're like, yeah, you know what, that's pretty long. They wrote it down. They're going to fix that. One of the other things that I commented on was I actually turned auto loot on as soon as I got it because I hate I just want to pick it up and keep going. But it doesn't tell you in the chat window what you pick up. So there's no way to know. The window comes up and disappears instantly. And she was standing beside me. I go, isn't this a little fast? I can't read. Right? And she's like, yeah, you know what? We never thought about that. So I guess they don't really play with the auto loot actually when they're actually playing. So she's like, yeah, we'll look into doing something because you don't know what the hell you got.
And one last question. It shouldn't take long to answer.
6, 42, 7.
Global cooldown, yes or no?
No.
Only on potions and provisions. It's 20 seconds.
There's a few more, but it looks like time's up, so...
Wait, can I mention one thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know anything about it. Somebody asked a question about standing stones. Yes, they are in. I have absolutely no idea what they do. Jessica, the community manager, pointed one out to me.
What the hell's a standing stone?
Like the Mundus stones, I guess.
Oh, okay.
The standing stones they gave, like, buffs.
Yes, they give various buffs when you activate them. I didn't ask how often you could activate them. It was on somebody else's computer, like, basically on the other side of the room. So, and they, as they were approaching it, they turned and started walking in another direction. It was just like,
Huh.
So, I only barely caught a glimpse of it.
Alright, so before we go, there's 2 things I want to talk on. Provisioner will have duration buffs, so you'll actually be able to put crit buffs and stuff like that on your character. I asked Adela Elper that, and she's like, I don't know. So she went and asked Paul Sage. There is developer buffs. And I am so surprised nobody asked this question. Nobody asked about stealth or sneak. Like, nobody. At level 1, sneak, you can sneak for 20 seconds before running out of stamina. At level 1, so obviously if you spec into sneak, this required stamina will go down. And stealth or sneak? That's the big question right there. In PvE, it's sneak. PvP, it's stealth. You are 100% invisible in stealth, in PvP. The way they find you is if they're looking at you, there'll be a shadow on the ground, a small round shadow. That's all they can see. They'll see it moving, but if you're in the shadows, they won't see a thing.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I wanna touch on a few things before we go as well. I want to talk on active traps. I was in a dungeon, and there were active traps. Arrows would shoot up from the ground and would cause damage to you. And also, another one I saw was a wall of fire, and it would start to glow on the bottom, and then the whole entire wall would just combust with fire, and you couldn't pass unless you took damage. I thought that was something very interesting. Cleaving will only be available, if I remember, only with two-handed weapons.
Yeah, so one of the questions that came up in your TESO stream was, if you swing, do you hit other mobs next to you? No. Your swing hits the mob you have targeted. Like that's, unless it's your cleave. Like if you hit your cleave skill, it will obviously cleave whatever the hell's in front of you.
Yes. When your health gets low, the entire side of your screen will glow red.
Oh, Term's got something.
No, it was that I completely forgot to mention that every single time.
I thought you were like, I hate that!
No, I love that.
I don't want to be notified if I'm gonna die!
Oh, and there was this one thing that the one dev told us that I thought was really cool. It has to do with area of opportunity. So if I drop an ultimate on the ground that does something, Garb or Term or someone can come over and do something to activate it and cause damage with their, and kind of combine both our ultimates to do one thing.
Yeah, so one of the examples they used was, so Altair is playing a sorcerer. He could drop a conduit of lightning, or whatever it's called, don't quote me on that, on the circle, or on the ground. And the way that works is, if you played World of Warcraft before, or Guild Wars, you have that round reticule that you can just drop. So you'll actually be able to free move your mouse in that phase. And he'll drop it. It only lasts about 15 to 20 seconds, but when he drops it, you want to strategically place it. Say a mumble, hey, I'm dropping this. Somebody goes into it, and there'll be something on the screen that says, hey, to activate, press X. You hit X, your character would then become this giant conduit of lightning, and you start spitting out fucking lightning bolts everywhere, and it's really cool.
Yeah, also, there are standard and passive abilities that you can learn. There will be no trained pets in the game, or at least that's what she said. That is subject to change. Pets do despawn when you switch rooms, like if you, when you switch rooms or like hit a loading screen or something like that. Yeah, I had to respawn my tune every time I went into a different, like a different zone or like a loading screen or something like that.
Did you comment on that, or was that done on purpose?
I mentioned it to Maria.
Yeah, I don't know if I like, because I mean, sorcerers can have they're conjurers, right? They can summon creatures. I don't know if I like the idea that if I zone into something, I have to resummon.
Because I mean, if you summon something right outside of, say, a boss door, and then you go through that door and it costs you a substantial amount of magicka, and then you walk through that door and your magic is drained and your follower is gone, I'd be a little pissed off.
I would assume it's only when you zone, though. I mean, if you just change rooms, that would be obnoxious.
So, the provisioning for cooking. They mentioned something that all cooking recipes have to be discovered.
Cool. I like that.
Ultimates can also be synergies.
Yes.
Really?
You will obviously get XP while exploring. And there was a question asked on the Saturday stream about when you level up. When you level up, each point you get is 10 plus 10 to magicka, stamina, or health.
So what do you mean? If I put 1 point into health, stamina, or magicka, it gives me 10?
Yeah, it'll give you 10 upgrade of 10. So if you're at 100, you'll be at 110.
So that's good to know. I mean, like I said before, the gear will have plus 2 to magicka, so that's essentially 20 magicka.
Yeah. Cool. We mentioned on the no scrolling text. One thing I noticed.
Sorry to interrupt. Did anybody ask what your maximum level for attributes could be? Like how high you could get it without how many you could put in it?
Yeah, I didn't ask that. That's a good question.
No, I didn't ask that. One thing I did notice, doesn't really have anything to do with the game itself, but there were what were called headman punishments posted on walls, and it listed these things like if you did said thing, this thing would happen to you and stuff like that. And there was a list of like 15 of them on the board. I don't know if that might have something to do with a morality system that they might implement later in the game, but that was something that I took notice to, and I wrote down. I mentioned the golden light for a heavy attack. You got anything else to add, Garb?
No, like I said, I'm actually in the process of writing a character creation post, which will explain all the details that you can see in character creation. And I mean, there is like,
There's
okay,
one
just take a
thing
look
I
here.
wanna
Like,
talk
there's
about.
there's my list of page 1 of character creation, page 2 of character creation, and page 3 of character creation.
Yeah, here's one thing I do want to mention. The Emperor.
No, don't even. No,
No?
you can't. No, don't even comment on that. I know exactly what you're gonna
Yeah,
say.
Well, I was
Fine.
told to just not even talk about it. There wasn't enough information.
He didn't give us
Just for
anything,
now.
but he gave us a tidbit that is huge. I'll tell you after, but I mean, I don't want to give it away because it's huge.
Fine.
It's huge. Like, that's a pretty big deal. Let's just say healers can be emperors as well.
Yeah.
Apart from the character customization that I wrote down, let me see here.
We
Yeah,
got to
there's
keep
over-
some information for later streams. Like, I mean, come on. We got to keep you guys coming back.
Yeah, this is true. I'm good for tonight with the information. that
Yeah,
have.
I mean, we've covered quite a bit of information.
I need to type up my notes. Like, I have everything still sitting on this recorder here.
You should
like
send
3
me that.
hours
Send me
of-
that.
Just have-
I've got about 10 pages worth of notes here.
Yeah, I took a lot of notes. I really wish I had a recorder. I mean, you definitely were thinking on that one, because I definitely wasn't. I was like, oh, just bring pen and paper. No, dumbass.
Well, they
bring a
did
fucking
tell us-
recorder. It's 2013, you idiot.
They did tell us that we could audio record, but with how loud it was in that room, it would have been pointless.
It was pretty loud.
I listened to the first like hour of my stuff. There are some things that I just can't hear, which I know what they are, just because it brings me back to exactly
Yeah.
what I saw.
Yeah.
Honestly, we were so busy talking to the developers that were walking around that I had my headset like this half the time, and then there would be like a good half hour where it was down like this and stuff like that. So I didn't even really keep the headset on because I was so busy asking questions.
Speaking of headsets, what do you think of them?
The ones in the gameplay area were okay. The ones at the garden were better.
Which were the official test-off ones?
Yeah, those were the
The
TESO
ones at the-
ones.
Once at the garden, I talked to a guy who actually they were Logitech. I know this because I talked to the guy who basically let ZeniMax use them. I mean, these were freaking really high quality mice. I mean, you could add weights into a slot at the bottom. There was a little button at the top that nobody noticed, that if you hit it, the scrolling was unrestricted. Like, so it would have it would just keep spinning. Like, these were high quality mice. Should have taken one home with me.
I was gonna buy one with my coins, but like I said, we really got there an hour and a half late. Everything was gone. I couldn't even get a Stein or anything.
Yeah. I do want to mention one thing to the viewers. If we don't get your questions in our stream, please hit us up on our website or on either mine or Garb's Twitters with your questions. We
Or
will
Elder
write
Scrolls
them down.
Uncovered.
Or put them anywhere where it's visible for us, our Twitter pages or anything like that,
Thank you, guys.
and we will write them down and either do an article responding to your questions, or include it in an Elder Scrolls Uncovered video, or we'll do a separate video ourselves just going over the questions that you did and post it on YouTube or something like that, because there are so many questions that people are asking that there's not enough time in a day to answer.
I mean, back on TESOF, I'm usually chilling in the chat if I have enough free time, which sometimes I do. Tomorrow I won't. So you can just send me a private message through the forums. I will definitely respond to it.
Terminus, right?
At least to the best of my ability.
Your full name was Terminus. What's the last name? So people can find
Terminus
you.
there. You at the top of the page, you can look up TESOF staff, and I should be under writers.
Or you could find us on. Yeah, you can also find me or Garb on the Shadowmare website. We are both on there, so you can always send us a private chat on there or something like that to get your questions over to us as well.
Term, do you have Twitter?
I do not.
Oh, you're not one of the cool kids.
Yeah, I know. Like all I have is a fake book.
A fake book.
Yeah, a fake book. Because I don't use fake Facebook, so I made a fake account.
Yeah, so there's also our Clearing Call Facebook page that you can post your questions to.
Oh, he's all about shameless plugs tonight.
Well, why not? We have time.
Yeah. Definitely got time. I'm going to try to do a video article every day. I don't know if I'm going to get this one done tonight, which sucks. So I'll probably have it done for tomorrow. The first one's going to be on character creation. The second one is going to be on combat. And the third one is going to be on progression. If there's anything you guys want to know specifically, like a topic, let me know. I got, like I said, pages and pages of notes. And if I can't write it, I mean, Terminus has 2 hours worth of voice recordings. I mean, we definitely have answers that we can give you.
I have not yet planned out what I'm going to be writing about. Tomorrow I'm going to be releasing something on multiclassing, which is a new topic that's been discussed very little, which actually basically came into existence on Saturday thanks to a member of our community who literally told me personally, and then I had Nick talk about it, so that'll be really interesting. Otherwise, I have no time during the week, like ever, basically, just because school, work, everything, I'm always busy. I will try to organize my notes as quickly as possible.
Yeah, it sucks, eh? We got so much stuff in your head, you just don't know where to start.
Like you obviously have it pretty well worked out, but then again, you have written notes. So
oh, dude, I just started doing my article about an hour and a half ago. I sat here all day in front of my screen, in front of Word, going, "What do I do?" It's just, I had to start writing down point form and then somehow adding sentences into it. It was just like I said earlier in the stream. Everybody thought I was like overhyped on the first video, and it was just because we just experienced something that we weren't expecting to be as detailed as it was. Like, I was expecting an MMO, but I wasn't expecting. In all honesty, I wasn't expecting to be that polished. Now, with that being said, there's obviously glitches and bugs that still need to be fixed, so it's not 100% polished, but it's a lot further along than I expected. For example, the person that was butt surfing.
Yeah, that was pretty freaking funny.
That was funny. I'm getting a Twitter message that... You're going to see my chat for a second. And I want to know what it says. Something that we haven't talked about, apparently. One thing people haven't been talking about is faction race restrictions since Firewar's interview a couple months ago. Does anybody know what he's talking about?
Faction race restrictions.
He wouldn't go as far as saying they were restricted to their factions, nor let you unlock opposing faction races. I don't know what he's referring to, because I know you can start off as Aldemary Dominion, but you can also make characters on Ebonheart and Daggerfall. You just can't join your old campaign, so you'll never meet up with your friends or anything like that from the other server. You'll never see them in PvP.
Which, well, that's unless your friends make other accounts.
Yes. Yes. And then they could join your campaign on that faction.
And at that point, I guess you would have to join a separate guild? for each version of the Alliance.
We tried to get a lot of guild information. They wouldn't provide it. They're like, well, we don't know yet. We're still working on it.
Yeah, the only thing they really said is that it'll just have basic guild structure at launch, ranks and stuff like that.
To answer B's question, he says that we're supposed to have a special announcement today. Our special announcement was going to be that we had a video interview with Paul Sage, but we kind of ruined that for ourselves because we got so excited playing the game and we had questions and we had the developers right next to us that they answered all our questions.
Yeah.
So we finished our 2-hour stream and Paul Sage was like, all right, let's go do our interview. I'm like,
we have like 5 questions.
crap.
And I think we asked them a total of 5 or 6 questions afterwards. But where we did the interview was so loud that if we recorded it, it would have been horrible quality.
Next year when I go to PAX, I'm bringing a real camera with an actual microphone.
I'm not a big fan of recording like that because, just having a plan and the background noise is just unnecessary hassle. I mean, it's nice. It's really nice if you can get, a good place to sit down and have the questions answered. But
yeah,
I mean, people aren't watching your video to see everybody's pretty face. They're watching
for the info.
information.
That's right. Like I brought everything for an interview with audio if we had a quiet room. Like I had the camera, I had my microphone. I had it all planned out that if we had a quiet room, it would have been perfect. But we had nowhere to go, and I mean, the line for ESO was just unbelievably long. We couldn't even go hide in the corner. And then you had that huge, massive, like 72-inch screen with the audio right there, and it was great. And then you had the Twitch people right next to it. That was a horrible place for them to be.
Oh my god. And someone mentioned about us going to E3. I would love to go to E3. I just don't know if...
I'm trying. I'm trying to get us a press pass for E3. In all honesty, I highly doubt it's going to happen. I would love to, but even still, even if I was able to obtain a press pass, it cost a fortune to go.
When is E3?
June 22nd, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I would fly out there.
It's a ways away. It's just to get a hotel out there. And
yeah,
I mean,
we're not driving there.
No.
You're flying your ass there.
I mean, next year we're staying at the Westin. I don't care how much it costs. We're staying at the Westin. I am not frickin' driving in Boston ever again.
No.
Ever.
Hell no.
It's not that bad.
Boston, yes, it is. Boston is a city designed by a 14-year-old in SimCity.
While drunk.
It is the worst place to navigate. It has traffic circle off of a traffic circle. It's the number 8.
And then they have 6 roads meeting at an intersection where the opposite sides are one ways going the opposite direction, and the roads are itty-bitty, and you have buses that don't fit on the roads, and people who don't know how to drive, and they're not paying attention to what's going on. And
oh man, do you remember when we were on the bus and we made that one corner, and we were 2 inches from that other car we almost took out?
Oh my god.
Well, yeah, you're always 2 inches from everyone. It's the city.
Dude,
That's how it is.
You should come up here and go drive in Toronto, man. I complain about Toronto traffic, but it's nothing compared to what was down there.
No, New York City is a grid. Every city should be based like that. It's simple. If you're on 7th Street, you could pretty much figure out wherever the hell you need to go because it's a grid. There's no grid in Boston. If you are on Summer Street or Congress Street or whatever the hell the street names are,
you know where you are.
Not in Boston, you know.
No, not in Boston. I mean, okay, wasn't somebody on the bus saying that in Boston there's a street that intersects with itself?
Yeah, there's a street that loops around and comes back to itself, and I forget what the name of the street was, but it's the same street name on the corner.
It's like, where are you? Oh, I'm at this street. I'm at the corner of this street and this street. It's like, what?
What?
How does that happen?
Tremont Street.
Tremont Street, that's it. Yeah, it's Tremont. Tremont intersects with itself. How'd you know that?
The power of Google.
Oh. But yeah, it makes no sense. I don't know. I don't know. It's the city planner is just weird.
Well, it was planned out 300 years ago.
I know. It's just like Altair was saying. Right outside the convention center, just down the road, there's a traffic light. It looks like a 4 traffic spot. But there's like 12 lights. There's that many splits. It's stupid.
I mean, well, no, you just have to cut a few people off. It's okay. I mean, you know, it's.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
No,
problem.
don't get Altair talking about cutting people off and driving like a fucking idiot.
I have no problem cutting people off or anything like that. But
I was in that car. He scares me.
I'm from Jersey. I have no problem cutting people off, but this was madness.
No, your driving was madness.
Okay. Just because you guys drive at 60 kilometers an hour and we drive at 80 miles an hour,
We
I
don't
don't
drive
want to
at
hear it.
60. Well, we do drive at 60 on certain streets.
Okay, 80 kilometers an hour, which is like what?
80 is a
65?
standard road, man. It's decent speed. Why do you gotta go faster than that? Why?
I did 95 on the way home.
I know, and I was trying to fall asleep, so if I died, I wouldn't know about it.
No, I drove faster when I dropped you off.
Yeah, see, 100 kilometers is normal. I drive about 120 on the 401, which is 20 kilometers over.
I don't know what that equates to.
120 is about 70 miles. 70 miles.
That's it?
70, 75.
Hey, come on, dude. I was doing 90. No, I'm just kidding. I don't.
Yeah, we were on our way back from Boston, and we got like an hour out of outside of Syracuse, and Garb looks at me, he's like, "We're here already?" I'm like, "Dude, I've been doing 95."
I didn't say we're here already. I said, are we there yet? I wanted to be home.
Are we
No, the
alive?
first time you said, "Are we here already?" And then, like the last 45 minutes, you're like, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?"
Term, apparently you have a guest. You might want to check that out.
So check your closet.
Oh,
But,
you're the man from the room.
Just
I
to let
will
you
say
guys know, really quickly, E3. If I have to fly out there, I don't have any money. I'm poor, so.
Dude, if we all get
unless
tickets, we'll share flight pass.
No.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm trying to get it. It's just, in order to get a press pass for E3, you have to have letterhead of your company from the editor of the company saying you work for them. I'm like, if anything, it's an internet business. Who uses letterhead?
I might be able to help you out with that, Garb,
All right.
if I get a pass.
Oh. Well,
Well, regardless, next year we'll be able to get PAX media passes.
yeah. Next year we're good for PAX. So that's fine. I mean, but it's a year away. I really want to know. E3 is a big conference, and I have a feeling they're going to announce something at E3. Everybody does. All big AAA companies do. It's what they do at E3. I'm really hoping Blizzard goes, hey, you know what? Hearthstone was a joke. Here's what we really have.
Yeah, Hearthstone was just a... Yeah.
They're going to announce
speaking of
taking
future
hands out of the game. We
Speaking
can't
of
get
events,
this to
I'm
work,
going to
sorry.
be going to UMass Amherst, the next food truck.
Did you go
What
to the
is
food
that?
truck on Friday?
I went for 10 minutes because my playtime was from 1 to 3
Oh, that
and the
sucks.
truck was 11 to 3. So I stopped by, I took one picture, I shook some hands, and then I had to leave immediately.
Yeah, we were standing in the...
And I didn't get a free meal and pickle. I was so disappointed.
You didn't get your pickle. We were standing in the Assassin's Creed line, and they announced that it's outside. It's right across the street from the PAX building. So
afterwards we went over and looked. It wasn't there.
it wasn't there. It was like down the street and around the corner. It's like, seriously, you lied to us. So
Oh wow! I'm looking at the calendar here. They're visiting the University of Massachusetts Amherst, or UMass Amherst, on
This Saturday, isn't it?
Friday.
This Friday?
No, it's March 29th. This Friday.
Oh, you jerk.
I guess I'm gonna have to skip one of my classes again, like I did on Friday.
You jerk. You have
That's the way
to. If you get an Elder Scrolls pickle, you got to mail it to me. I want an Elder Scrolls pickle.
I will mail you my Elder Scrolls pickle.
Awesome. I'm gonna
I'll
melt
mail
that.
you my pickle.
No, you won't. I don't want your pickle. Your pickle's sour.
Ew. Please, it's not a Cheezit.
All right. I mean, we ran 26 minutes late, so I think we should end this. Thanks everybody for coming out. We peaked at like 60 some viewers, so that's pretty good considering this was really impromptu. And I think we answered a lot of questions. Like, it was definitely a good stream.
Yeah,
So,
like I said, if you have any more questions, hit us up on any of the things that we talked about, and we will be streaming again next Saturday.
yeah, definitely hit us up. I mean, Terminus, do you want to do a quick shameless plug and sign off for us, for yourself and Tessoff?
TESOF, and Elder Scrolls, hit us up. We have great discussions about in-game mechanics. That's what we focus on. We have a decent guild set up, but we're not focused on it. What we're focused on is discussing the game at core. I do a weekly article series called The Bouncing Act, where I discuss, basic all sorts of things. It releases usually every Tuesday at noon, which is when I have free time between classes. So I'm releasing an article tomorrow, like I mentioned before. My guild is called the Bosmer Brotherhood of Archers. We're about to change the name to the Nor, which is much simpler.
Wait, did you say the Nord?
The Nor.
Okay.
Noore. It's Elven for guild. So basically, if you just search Bosmer Archers, you'll find our site, I think. If not, you can find one of my posts on the forums, and it's my signature, has a direct link to it. That's all I got.
Alright guys, thanks again for everybody coming out. Altair, Term, Gooey for being our little press bitch. Appreciate it. So we'll see you either Saturday at the next Elder Scrolls Uncovered, or earlier this week if we decide to do another impromptu Q&A with a little bit more information. So yeah, thanks again.